I am sick of coming in front of the press and saying this, but you have to, because you people need to understand what is going on. God forbid you put an accounting thing in for legal counsel. It's legal counsel. And now our taxpayer dollars, my time, our attorney's fees, are all here because they're afraid of 2024. And you know what? They should be, because the American people are not stupid. They see what's going on.
At the end of this statement, listen, because you can catch reporters mocking her and making fun of her and laughing at her on an open mic. Earlier today in Manhattan, Donald Trump appeared for day 2 of his trial, and he stopped again at the barricade to address reporters. These moments, I think our friend David Marcus, columnist over at Daily Mail, Fox News, buddy of mine, he likened this to the daily Andrew Cuomo press conferences during COVID, except the difference here is, you know, in those press conferences, Andrew Cuomo was lying and he was killing old people in nursing homes. But in terms of setting your clock by it and having it sort of click off the daily news cycle, yeah, he's right. That's exactly what these moments that Donald Trump stopping and talking to reporters represent. And he spent a little bit of time talking about his trial, but he wanted to focus on what's going on in this country. He's not allowed to campaign, so he's using this opportunity to deliver his campaign message about how Joe Biden is allowing the radical anti-Semitic violence to occur right now on our college campuses and in our city streets. But more importantly, he compared it to what's going on outside the courtroom in Manhattan. Take a watch. It's good stuff.
What's going on at the college level and the colleges, Columbia, NYU, and others is a disgrace. And it's really on Biden. He has the wrong signal. He's got the wrong tone. He's got the wrong words. He doesn't know who he's backing. And it's a mess. And if this were me, you'd be after me. You'd be after me so much, but they're trying to give him a pass. But what's going on is a disgrace to our country. And it's all Biden's fault, and everybody knows it. He's got no message. He's got no compassion. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can't put 2 sentences together, frankly. He is the worst president in the history of our country. And again, what's going on is a disgrace. Now, it's interesting outside for great Americans, people that want to come down and they want to protest at the court, and they want to protest peacefully. We have more police presence here than anyone's ever seen. For blocks, you can't get near this courthouse. And yet you have nobody up at a college where you have very radical people wanting to rip the colleges down, the universities down. And that's a shame. But it all starts with Joe Biden. The signals he puts out are so bad. And I can tell you, he's no friend of Israel, that's for sure. And he's no friend of the Arab world either. You take a look at what he said. He's no friend of, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. He wants to take like a middle ground, and oftentimes that doesn't work, but it's certainly not working here. But what he's done to Israel is abandon them. And he's trying to be as nice as he can to the other side. Call it the Arab world, but that's not working either because they get him. And he's an incompetent man. Peace will never happen with a guy like this. Thank you very much.
How would you work those protesters to drop police support schools, sending police to arrest students?
Well, listen, he's not wrong about that at the end there, because we certainly had more peace in the Arab world or in the Middle East when Donald Trump was president. As you know, I've mentioned it before. He sent the signal immediately. We're moving our embassy to Jerusalem. We're defunding Hamas. We're ending this nuclear deal with Iran. And the rest of you countries in the Middle East, you want to be buddies with us? You want to be friends with America? You figure out your problems with Israel. As soon as you're friends with Israel, you're friends with us. And wow, look at that. Within a few years, you had all these Arab countries who were sworn in. They didn't even recognize Israel on their map. They didn't allow Israel to let their airliners land in their airports. They didn't have an embassy with them. They didn't even recognize them as a country. But because of Donald Trump and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, they actually worked out the Abraham Accords, and suddenly you've got peace with these Arab nations. That's exactly Donald Trump's track record. And now look at how things are. Because Joe Biden is weak, and Joe Biden is confused, and Joe Biden doesn't even know what Joe Biden is doing because he's not running anything. It's the Obama administration time 3.0. It's going on here. But understand also the brilliance of the politics here. Donald Trump can't campaign. He has to show up for the trial. They're covering it 24/7 on all the cable networks because, of course, CNN and MSNBC, this is like political porn for them. They love this. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Wolf Blitzer was genuinely aroused during his coverage of the trial yesterday. They get off on this stuff. So he knows that when he arrives and starts talking to the cameras, they're all going to break in and they're like, whoa, we got a news alert. Here's Trump right before his trial. And so he's using it as a platform to deliver a political message across all of the networks as they're covering this. It's actually very smart. And it resonates a message with the people who are viewing. Now, after President Trump went in, his lawyer, Alina Habba, came and actually discussed some of the finer points of the current, they got two trials going on at the same time here. They've got a challenge to his bail that he's put up, the cash bail that he put up in the civil trial. And then you've got the ongoing criminal trial here entering day 2. So here's Alina Habba, the legal spokesperson for President Trump, talking about both of those things. Most importantly, at the end of this statement, listen, because you can catch reporters mocking her and making fun of her and laughing at her on an open mic.
Good afternoon. We just left court in the civil division with the other witch hunt with Miss James to come here and see our client. The fact that we have 2 courts, not one, criminal and civil, being used against one man because they cannot beat him in the polls is a disgrace to the American judicial system. He should not have 2 teams of lawyers here today. He should not even be here today because he did nothing wrong. It is the epitome of a witch hunt. I just left where a judge asked us whether our cash bond, cash sitting in. Miss James wanted to argue and say that our cash somehow isn't green enough. We wasted time. The judge made a comment saying he thought that money market accounts could go down under the amount. He doesn't even understand basic principles of finance, but this was the man that decided that we owed money and my client committed fraud. We are going to attack every single one. 1 hour, the attorney general and that judge realized quickly that they had no idea what they were talking about. We came to an agreement that everything would be the same. We would modify terms, and that was it. This is where your taxpayer dollars are going, America. Right here. Witch hunt after witch hunt. President Trump's company was worth more in that case than it is now. And now what? We're here because of something that happened when he was in the White House that wasn't even wrong. It was not wrong. You hire lawyers to solve problems, lawyers solve those problems, you pay them. That's it. This is a joke. It's an affront to the American Constitution. It's an affront to our judicial system. And it's an affront to every lawyer that cares about their license, that cares about what is right and wrong. I am sick of coming in front of the press and saying this, but you have to because you people need to understand what is going on. God forbid you put an accounting thing in for legal counsel. It's legal counsel. And now our taxpayer dollars, my time, our attorney's fees, are all here because they're afraid of 2024. And you know what? They should be because the American people are not stupid. They see what's going on. Thank you.
Alina, one question. Is Trump's family with you guys across the street?
Excuse you.
All right. Now, according to the write-up over at Mediaite.com, it's from Tommy Christopher. So, Tommy Christopher. So reporters could be heard on a hot mic laughing after Trump attorney Alina Habba went on a blistering rant across the courtroom where former President Donald Trump's hush money election interference trial is being held. I love how they're calling it the hush money. We'll get to that in a minute. Habba wandered into the frame, talked about the witch hunts. As Habba strode away, a reporter asked a question that Habba ignored. And a few seconds later, reporters could be heard laughing on the still live mic. According to the transcript, the reporter said, Alina, one question. Is Trump's family inaudible across the street? And then after the pause, there's laughter. Let's try to hear that one more time.
Is Trump's family with you guys across the street?
Not sure. Yeah, it is inaudible. Is Trump's family something across the street? But this is how the reporters are covering this, and none of us should be surprised. Listen, I told you before that whenever you see any media outlet calling this a hush money case, you know that they're part of the propaganda here. All right. Let me just be clear, and I need to say it over and over and over again. Donald Trump is not defending himself against a criminal accusation that he paid hush money to Stormy Daniels. There's no crime in entering into a non-disclosure act and giving a cash payment for somebody to sign a non-disclosure agreement. That is not an illegal act, because every single reporter and journalist who's calling this hush money has entered into a non-disclosure agreement. And they've entered into that agreement either in exchange for direct cash payments or for the salary that they get from their employer who asked them to enter into the non-disclosure agreement. It is so standard, it's like a marriage license. But everyone's calling it a hush money thing. Hush money. Well, he did pay Stormy Daniels to stay quiet. That's not illegal. And that's not what he's being accused of. What he's being accused of is so ridiculous. He's being accused of paying his lawyer the legal fee that included the cost that his lawyer spent on Stormy Daniels and the non-disclosure agreement. But in his accounting, he didn't break out the money for Stormy Daniels. He just put it all under legal fee. I kid you not. That's what he's facing these charges for. Did you know that? Well, Alina Habba said that the American people are smart enough to see what's going on. And I worry if they are or not. Because let me show you an example of exactly why this is happening. Watch this exchange. This guy, his name is Shaney Rich. He does these man on the street stuff. And he went up and just in New York asked people, what do you think of the Trump trial? Watch.
What do you think about countries arresting their political candidate?
Well, if they've committed crimes like Trump has, then I'm for it, because no one should be above the law.
Wait, Trump's committed crimes?
Yeah, obviously.
What crimes has he committed?
This isn't real then. He's literally got 91 indictments. You don't know about the obvious information?
Well, no, I'm asking you, if maybe you know, because you said it with some strong conviction, right? So maybe you would know the answer.
Well, he's currently on trial for a criminal case for trying to pay hush money to a porn star.
All right, so I'm going to let this finish for a second, but did you see that? He's on trial right now for trying to pay hush money to a porn star. See, that's all they care about. That's all they wanted. They want that tawdry headline. Hush money for a porn star. Hush money for a porn star. Hush money. Did you know that the porn star in question might actually end up testifying on Trump's behalf here? And so might her lawyer. Hush money to a porn star. That's all they care about, because they wanted to. This is the Russian dossier all over again. This is throwing out dirty, despicable innuendo into the media. Did you know so far, there has been one adjudication having to do with this non-disclosure agreement with the actress who goes by Stormy Daniels. There has already been a court case with regard to this non-disclosure agreement, and Stormy Daniels is the one who lost. Donald Trump won because she broke the agreement. Did you know that in this entire hush money to a porn star story, there is one person who has been found liable and actually owes hundreds of thousands of dollars to Donald Trump, and that's Stormy Daniels? No, you don't know that. Why? Because we have a broken, distorted propaganda media who doesn't want to tell the truth, but instead wants to act as an instrument of destruction for the man you want to vote for, and to prop up the man that nobody can even tell if he knows what day it is. All right, so you just heard this guy. Well, sure, he's facing charges because he tried to pay hush money to a porn star.
Trial for a criminal case for trying to pay hush money to a porn star.
I could have sworn that Stormy Daniels signed a letter saying she didn't have sex with Donald Trump. And then I also thought that there was a statute of limitations, in our country.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
It's in trial right now.
So do you think he's guilty?
I think he's guilty of many crimes. I think that's, one of the smaller crimes, the taking national security documents and putting them in his house.
Oh, yeah, when he had him in his garage with the Corvette.
Okay, you're full of shit. So.
Oh, you walk away? Huh. They always walk away.
They sure do. And I think we know who's full of shit in that exchange there. But that's sadly what I'm worried about. Sadly, I'm worried that there are enough voters on the bubble who aren't paying attention, who don't follow this, who don't know that the only person we've found so far to illegally have classified documents stored in a haphazard and unsafe way, violating all protocols and actually putting national security at risk, was Joe Biden in his garage. I worry that the only thing that people take away from this entire thing is hush money to a porn star, because that guy, I mean, sure, he's an activist. He hates Trump. He wasn't going to vote for anybody anyway. But this guy has plenty of people who don't know better on his Facebook page, right? Or on his Instagram, or at the Thanksgiving table coming up this November. That'll be after Election Day. Okay, how about at a July 4th picnic? I worry that this guy, unabated, without the facts to fight against him, will actually have his voice be the one that's heard. That's why we do what we do. That's why you take this and you share this on your Facebook page, so that the morons who think like that will actually get informed, because we lead with facts here. That's what this trial is about. This is not actually about any crime. It's not about justice. This is a political operation utilizing propaganda. And so far, it might be working. Understand, Donald Trump being found guilty or not, that's secondary. It's the daily coverage with these tawdry details that are meant to imply guilt, even if there's no crime that's ever been broken.